Hello, and welcome to episode 10 of the Crazy Knitter Studio podcast. My name is Kristen, also known as Crazy Knitting Fool on Ravelry, and I am your hostess. So this is episode 10, and I'm calling it I Am Back. So I want to welcome all new and returning viewers, especially the returning ones. Thank you for coming back after my long hiatus. It was unplanned, but needed. So let's get right into it. So Presser, which is the weeks in review. I'm not going to go over what's happened the last 2 months. You can thank me because it would take forever. But there was, I think I've mentioned before, some family drama with my extended family, mostly my sister, and my dad has been brought into the fold now. And it has all come to a head, sort of. It's not completely over yet, but it's been a very stressful couple of months, and my anxiety and my depression have been out of control, and I've not been doing much knitting. I've not been watching my TV shows. I have not been doing much of anything. It's been a struggle just to get through the day, to get up, get Clark ready, get him to school, get myself to work, get through work, get home and eat dinner, do homework, and do all that stuff. There were days where, like, even taking a shower was almost too much for me. So, but things are better. Like I said, it still is not completely resolved, but it's resolved on my end. Other people might not like my decisions, but they're my decisions, and I have to do what's best for myself and my son and my husband, and that's what we're doing. So, and my husband has been wonderful. He's behind me 100%. He agrees with me. He's totally supportive. So, hey, you can't ask for anything more than that. So, moving on. Oh, today is January 2nd, 2016, so Happy New Year. Hope it was fun. Hope you rang it in, whooped it up. So we had a good Christmas and a good New Year's. I didn't get much for Christmas. My siblings and I finally decided, after many years of me saying we shouldn't, we're not exchanging gifts anymore. So it's just us buying for my dad and the kids, my son and my 2 nieces. Although the oldest one just graduated from college, so I think maybe she should be starting to get cut off soon, but we'll see. But it was nice. I did get some gift cards to Joann's and Panera and Olive Garden, which we used last week. And then I got Supernatural season 10, 11, I don't know, whatever last year's season was. I have all of the seasons on DVD. I've never watched any of them, but I love Supernatural. It's my favorite show, and when it goes off the air, now I can have my Dean fix, so. Okay, little man's coming upstairs, so I'm going to have to pause this. Hold on 1 second. Okay, he had to use the bathroom. So speaking of little man, he wrote me the sweetest letter on New Year's Eve, and I have to read it because it's just the cutest thing ever. It says, "Dear Mom, I love you so much. I love when we watch the Michigan State game together. I also love you when you help me do my homework. I also love you when we go to lunch together. I also love you when you sleep in my bedroom. I also love you when we decorate the Christmas tree. I also love you when we got to see the fireworks. Love, Clark." It was so cute. He makes everything worthwhile. So, all right. Moving on. Touchdowns, which are my finished objects. I actually have 2. So, I don't have either one. One I gave away. The other one is downstairs. I forgot to bring it up, and I'm too lazy to go get it. So, sorry. So, the first thing I did is I made I called it a sparkly bird of happiness. It's a little ornament. I made it for Clark's teacher. It's the Bluebird of Happiness pattern by Sarah Elizabeth Kellner. I used sized 1 needles, and I used a mini skein that I got from Knitopia a couple years ago in the Sock Bunny Studio Sunshine. So it's sparkly base. That's why I call it Sparkly Bird of Happiness. And the colorway is Aurora Borealis. So here's a picture of it from Ravelry. Oh, oops. Come on. So that was Clark's teacher gift for the year. So, and then I finished his SpiderMan Sheldon. So that pattern was Sheldon by Ruth Hormkraus. I use size 3 needles in Red Heart Super Saver in cherry red and blue. Alright, then my phone rings. Sorry about that. Nobody ever calls me. And then I'm trying to record on my phone and my phone rings. Never fails. So anyway, moving on. Talking about my SpiderMan Sheldon, the yarn was Red Heart Super Saver in cherry red and blue. Here's a picture. Little man and his Sheldon. He likes him, so that makes Mama happy. Alright, hopefully I can get through this. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, first downs. Those are whips. So first up is the Bumpy Road Shawl, which is by Moi. It is Fibra Natura Yummy in the colorway 41354. And it uses size 4 needles. So 2 months ago, or a month and a half ago, when I recorded, the safety pin is where I was. And this is where I am now. So I'm getting to the end, and then I'm going to bind off on it. So moving on. So next project I just started. It's the Cozy Hat for Clark. And the pattern is Cozy by Allison Williams. And the yarn is some that I just bought. It's Red Heart Super Saver, Team Spirit, and red and blue. I think this is supposed to be New York Giants colors. But in our house, these are Spider-Man colors. So, and Clark likes the New York Giants because they have Spider-Man colors. So anyway, the pattern is Cozy by Allison Williams. Here's a picture. Cute baby. Very cute. So cute. So here we go. Here's where it is. I just started this on New Year's Eve. It was my cast on for winter camp, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But it's moving. Look, this looks slightly phallic. I'm sorry. But it's size 8 needles. Nice, fast, quick project. So I'm all about quick projects lately, if I knit at all. So, all right. So turnovers, which are mistakes. No knitting mistakes, but I did attempt to make a spider symbol, the SpiderMan symbol, out of felt for Clark's SpiderMan Sheldon to put on the back on the shell. Yeah. I don't have good scissors, so cutting felt didn't really work, and I glued it on, and the fabric glue got everywhere, and it was just a mess. It was Christmas Eve. I was like, no, I'm done. I think if I had tried doing it before I stuffed it and sewed it together, it might have worked better. But Sheldon does not have a spider symbol on his back, and we're okay with that. All right, so I'm going to combine training camp, which is future projects, and concessions, which are purchases. I bought a lot of yarn. As I previously mentioned, my brother and sister and I, and sister-in-law, decided that we weren't buying gifts for each other for Christmas this year. So I had some extra money. And I had already spent a lot on Little Man, so I spent a little bit more. And then I bought myself some yarn. So I'd never buy myself yarn, so I'm not going to feel guilty about it. And they all have projects attached to them, so that makes me happy. So first is to make my second Bumpy Road Shawl. I want to knit it again. I'm going to type up the pattern, then knit it again from the pattern, and then find test knitters to knit it. So I decided, because I don't think the pattern is really showing up well in that yarn that I'm knitting it out of, because it's so variegated, that I would do a solid to show the pattern better. So I got some Deborah Norville Serenity sock yarn. 50% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 25% bamboo. It's very soft, actually. I'm very impressed. I got it in a purple color, and this is actually, I'm very impressed with this camera. This color is pretty much spot on. there we go. Purple's my favorite color. So you're going to see a lot of purple. So I'm going to do my second Bumpy Road shawl in that, and then hopefully get it out to test knitters sometime. I need a drink of water. Sorry, hold on one moment. Okay. Next up, I have stolen a couple of ideas, but I give credit when I steal. So first up is a Birthstone Color Affection by Vera Valmaki. I didn't bring up, you've seen the Color Affection. If you haven't, you must be living under a bigger rock than I live under. And I live under a pretty big rock. So this was done by Prairie Girl Susie, I think, of the Prairie Girl Knits and Spins podcast. So I decided to do a color affection for our birthstones. So mine, my son's, and my husband's. So I got some Knit Picks palette, and the first one I got is Oyster Heather. And this is June is Pearl, which is my birthstone. I actually have two, Pearl and Amethyst. So, but the Pearl works better with the other two colors. And then I got Blue Note Heather. And this is September, which is Little Man's birthstone, and that's Sapphire. And then I got Brass Heather. This one's not coming out very well. Oh, there, that's better. But this is Topaz, which is November for my husband. So there's the three of them together. I think that'll look nice. So I'm doing this for winter camp. Again, I'll talk about that later. And Yarnder Woman is doing it started as a color affection, and now it's just a 3-color shawl knit along. So be doing that for those. All right, I got a lot of notes. That's what happens when you don't record for 2 months. Okay, second thing is I want to make a Doctor Who blanket. I'm stealing this from the Geeky Girls Knits podcast. They did one as a baby blanket for some friends. And they're the Doctor Who dishcloths by Holy Narf. So there's a whole bunch of the dishcloths, so I got a lot of those patterns. So I bought, this is Knit Picks Mighty Stitch in, what color is this? Where's the color? Where's the color on here? Oh, there it is. Oyster. Which again, is kind of a pearly color. Oh, that's upside down. I'm not very good at this. And then Celestial, which is the TARDIS blue. I don't watch Doctor Who, but my husband loves it, so. But I know TARDIS blue. And then I also have Mighty Stitch in Chocolate, which is a brown. Can't. Anyway, so that's good. Alright, and finally, last project. I want to make a pair of University mitts by Tin Can Knits. One of my goals, which again I'll talk about later, for the year is to learn how to do color work. So it's been a goal for a while. So I want to make the University mitts. So I got some Knit Picks Swish Worsted in Dove Heather, which is a gray. And, of course, purple. Amethyst Heather. So, they are together. Haven't decided. I'm thinking, I like the idea of the gray being the main color. But that could get dirty. So I'm not sure. But I got time to figure that out. Alright, so that's everything I have purchased. So moving on. I've won a couple of contests. So from Summer Yarns, Kitchen Stitches podcast, she gave away some hand spun yarn. And I won. And here it is. very pretty. It's very squishy. It's very soft. I love it. I've never knit with hand spun. And this is going to be something for me. I don't know what yet, but something. So it is, let me read the tag here. It's 100% BFL, Mountain Colors. The colorway is called Wilderness. And it is 152 yards of a 2-ply. Again, this will be something for me. It's very squishy. And then I won a hat pattern. So from Steve at Dramatic Knits, I won, it's called My Head's in a Whirl by Susan Eisman Leviton. It's a very cute little hat pattern. So I won that. So I don't win things, and I won 2 things in like 2 months. It's pretty cool. All right, so that's all the concessions besides Christmas gifts. Oh my gosh, I'm amazed. I don't shop a lot. I'm not a shopper. I think I've mentioned that before. I'm cheap, but I am so amazed that my bank did not shut down my debit card because there was a lot of ordering from Amazon going on in this house. It was crazy. Like the boxes, my husband's like, is this it? I was like, I don't know. Because I couldn't open them with him there, little man there. I told him that they were gifts for our family. And I kind of, you know, was able to do that. He's still young enough that he doesn't question. So, but it was bad. There was a lot of Christmas, but I save up for it during the year, so I don't worry about it too much. All right, moving on. Film room, books, TV, etc. I've read a lot of books since I left off with you, and I'm not going to go over them all. So I read a lot of Christmas books by Debbie McComber. I think I read 4 or 5 of them in the last month, trying to get myself in the Christmas spirit. Christmas was my mom's thing, big time. My mom even looked like Mrs. Claus. My dad used to have a white beard, not long Santa beard, but a white beard. He actually looked like either people said Skinny Santa or Kenny Rogers prior to the bad plastic surgery. But when Kenny Rogers had the beard, so that's my dad. So when he had it, so it was, my dad was Mrs. Santa and my mom was Mrs. Claus. So Christmas was hard. It's really hard. And with all the drama that was going on, it was especially hard this year. I really missed my mom. So I read a lot of Christmas books to put myself in the holiday spirit. So I'm not going to go over them all, but there were a lot. And the last book I just finished on New Year's Eve was Fly Away by Kristen Hanna. I'm really starting to like her books. She's like a Debbie McComber, Nora Roberts, chick lit type. She can be kind of wordy sometimes, but I like her books. I got one from the library today. I can't remember what it's called, but so this is a sequel to another one of hers called Firefly Lane, which is the story of these 2 best friends from the time they're 14, and it traces their life from the time they meet until, I don't want to, I'm not going to spoil the end, but this is the sequel picking up after the end of Firefly Lane. So it was good. Again, she's a little wordy sometimes. I think sometimes she could cut her books by maybe 50 pages or so, but I like them. And now I'm reading, if I can find it in this pile of stuff, The Secret Between Us by Barbara Delinsky. And it's a story of this woman and her daughter. She's a doctor in this small New England town, and her daughter and her are driving. Well, her daughter's driving, and they're coming home one night, and it's really, they live out in the middle of nowhere, so it's very dark, and it's raining, and just really bad weather, and the daughter hits a man on the side of the road. And the mom kind of doesn't let the police know that it's the daughter that was driving. They assumed that it was her, and she didn't correct them, so it's kind of, and of course, the daughter, well, I guess it won't spoil it. You find out that she had been at a party and had drank. And, you know, so now she's feeling guilty because she's hit somebody and she's drunk, and her mom's telling the cops that they hit. So it's like she's having a hard time dealing with it, and she's not telling her mom, obviously, that she had these beers. So I'm about 40 pages in so far. It's all right, pretty good. So, but the big thing, well, we'll go back to that. Okay, so I've been listening and watching some new podcasts. So, well, one's not new. One's Never Not Knitting with Lana Dakos, who is the designer behind Never Not Knitting. I just started listening to her podcast. I like hers. And then I also started watching Cody Knits on YouTube. And Cody is a nurse. He just finished his master's and became a nurse practitioner. He's just adorable. I love him. I want to pinch his cheeks. He's so cute. And then I started watching Sarah Nova Crafts with Jessica, because she is my camp counselor, my cabin leader for winter camp, which again, I'll get to later. So I started watching her podcast. So now the big thing is, of course, last week I went to see Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I will not spoil it, but I will say I liked it. I was pleasantly surprised. It was a little predictable in a few spots. But again, I love Star Wars, and it's definitely more in the vein of the original 3 than the last 3 that came out that were so bad. And it was funny. You know, there was some jokes, you know, and got to see Chewie again. I love Chewie. He's and R2-D2. They're my 2 favorites. So, and BB-8 was adorable. My husband has been calling my son BB-8 so, since. But I won't spoil it, but if you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't seen it yet, you gotta go see it. So, alright, post-game, which is the wrap-up. So, the alphabet knit along, I'm cutting it off. Maybe we'll do it some other time, but yeah, I'm not up for it right now. So, we had 2 people who chattered. That's Andrea, the cat lady, and Adrian, Annie97. So if you 2 could contact me and let me know what pattern or patterns up to $10 on Ravelry you want for the chatter thread. And then Adrian actually finished a scarf, and I should have brought it up. It was really pretty, but I forgot. So contact me, Adrian. If you could send me a private message, or maybe I'll send you a message. I was thinking maybe a gift certificate to Knit Picks or Etsy, if you have an Etsy store, or just plain regular Etsy gift card, for being the finished object person for the quarter. So just let me know either way. All right, so winter camp, which I've brought up several times. It's a cool idea. Sarah from the Canadian Knitter, she has a bunch of people who are camp leaders, team cabin leaders, I think they call them. And you're in cabins. I'm in Team Arctic Wolf, again with Jessica from Sarah Nova Crafts. And you get points based upon how much yarn you use, so, and the weight. So if you use 100 grams of lace weight, you get more points than if you use 100 grams of bulky weight. So, and there's bonus points based upon colors, and like I know January is blue. Bonus points. The pattern type is for your head. Bonus points. If I can get it finished in January, which I should. I mean, this is 2 days worth of knitting right here. And my kid's got a big noggin, but it's not that big. So you get bonus points for those, or using featured designers, which I have my projects all planned out. My Color Affection, which is February, is for your neck. So Color Affection. And then March is for your hands, which is the University Mitts. And then I think the colors are pink, red, and there's another color, purple, maybe? No, it's blue and purple for January. Pink, red, and orange, maybe? I don't know. For February. And March is yellow and green, which I don't do yellow, and I don't really like green, so. unfortunately, sign-ups are closed. It closed in the middle of December, but it's fun. And I was hoping it would be a way to jumpstart my knitting mojo again and get me out there and participating in the world again, since I've been holed up in my little hidey hole for the last couple months. So that's winter camp. So my 2016 goals. I'm not going to go over all of them. I'll actually put a link in the show notes to my Crazy Knitting Fool blog where I put them all. But just things like, I want to learn how to crochet. That's something I've always wanted to learn for the last couple years. I want to do color work. So now that I actually have the yarn to do it, I don't have an excuse. Those are my creative things. I want to learn how to cross stitch, and I bought that little cross stitch thing for my birthday that I showed in my very first episode. So I'll work on that. That's a few of the crafting things. And like my pattern, like I wanted to do the blanket for my husband, and I want to do Clark's blanket, which I've never talked about here, but maybe when I actually start it, I'll talk about it. It was a little, again, monumental project I decided to take on, but he's worth it. So, and then personal wise, just things like I want to start working out again. My goal is 3 days a week. You know, I want to lose weight. I need to. My knees are really starting to hurt. And I have a bad knee anyway. I fractured my kneecap in high school. And the orthopedic doctor told me, with my family history of arthritis and the fact that I had this injury, that odds are I'm going to have problems with my knee as I get older. And I have in the last couple of years, but now that was my right knee. Now my left one's actually starting to hurt more. So I need to lose weight. I don't want to be a size 2. I never will be. I always say if I could get back to where I was when I met my husband, which is still actually about 20, 25 pounds over what's supposed to be my ideal weight for my height. But if I could get back to where I was when I met my husband, which is about 60 pounds, I'd be happy. So, and I want to do it for my health. I'm like I said, I don't want to fit in a bikini or be a size 2, but I want to be healthy. And I lost my mom at 27, and I don't want Clark losing me at 27, 37, 47. I want him to be like 97. Obviously, I know that's probably not realistic, but you can hope. So that's my goal. And then just some financial things. I want us to save more money. You know, flittering away $1 here, $1 there. That's my problem, is I don't buy things like yarn in large quantities, but I flit away like $1 here, $1 there, and next thing I know, 20 bucks is gone, and it's like, well, where'd it go? At least this, I have something to show for it. When you buy yarn and you make something with it, but you know, I don't have anything to show for it except pop bottles sitting on my desk, or my ever-expanding butt, because I'm eating McDonald's for breakfast 3 days a week. Anyway. But, so, that's about all, people. I have no idea how long this is, because I've stopped so many times. But, I'm back. So, contact me on Ravelry. I'm Crazy Knitting Fool. Twitter, it's Crazy Knit Fool. Instagram is Crazy Knitter Studio. The blog is crazyknitterstudio.blogspot.com. My email is crazyknitterstudio@gmail.com. And then the Ravelry group is Crazy Knitter Studio. So next episode will be January 16th. Getting into the January blahs. I don't like January. I hate February more, but I don't like January. It's my second least favorite month. But I got a lot of knitting to do. So I hope you all have a good couple weeks. You get lots of knitting, crocheting, sewing, weaving, dyeing, cross-stitching, whatever it is you like to do done. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.